Have you ever felt the subtle, persistent drag of something invisible? Perhaps it's a habit, a way of reacting that you've outgrown but still cling to, like an old heavy coat on a surprisingly warm day. Or maybe it's a belief, a story you've told yourself about who you are or what you're capable of, a narrative that once served you but now simply hems you in. For some, it might be the lingering echo of a past relationship, a tether that prevents true forward movement even when the connection has long since frayed. This feeling, this quiet weight, is remarkably common. We accumulate things in life, not just possessions, but patterns, expectations, and even people, and often we hold on to them long after they've ceased to nourish us. We do it out of comfort, out of habit, sometimes even out of a misplaced sense of loyalty. But deep down, there's often a quiet knowing. This no longer serves. It no longer aligns with the person we aspire to be, the life we truly wish to live. The ancient Stoics, with their profound wisdom, understood this human tendency intimately. They weren't advocating for a cold, emotionless existence, but rather for a life lived with intentionality, clarity, and virtue. For them, true freedom wasn't about having everything you wanted. It was about releasing attachment to what you didn't truly need, what actively hindered your growth. They knew that growth isn't always about adding something new. Very often, it's about the courageous act of shedding, of unburdening. Consider the notion of virtue in Stoicism. It's not about moral purity in a narrow sense, but about living in alignment with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. When we look at a habit, a relationship, or a belief through this lens, a quiet truth often emerges. Does this habit truly contribute to my wisdom, or does it cloud my judgment? Does this belief promote justice in my interactions, or does it foster resentment? Does clinging to this past connection require courage, or does it prevent me from bravely stepping into new experiences? And does it reflect temperance, or is it an indulgence that pulls me off balance? This is where the Stoic practice of self-examination becomes so powerful. It's an honest, unflinching look at our inner landscape. Epictetus urged us to examine every day what you have done and said and thought. This isn't about self-criticism, but self-awareness. It's about noticing where our energy is being drained, where our peace is being disturbed, and where our potential for virtue is being stifled. It's about identifying those invisible anchors. Letting go, from a Stoic perspective, is an act of profound courage. It requires facing the discomfort of the unknown, the fear of change, and the potential grief of severing ties, whether they are to a routine, a thought pattern, or a person. But the Stoics remind us of the dichotomy of control. We cannot control external events, nor can we control other people. What we can control is our judgments, our responses, and our choices. Holding on to something external that no longer serves us is often an attempt to control the uncontrollable, to resist the natural flow of life. Think about the Stoic acceptance of impermanence, often summarized as memento mori, remember you must die. While it sounds stark, its true power lies in reminding us that everything is fleeting, including our current circumstances, our relationships, and even our own physical form. When we embrace this truth, the grip of attachment loosens. If everything is impermanent, then clinging to what is already fading or no longer beneficial becomes illogical. It prevents us from embracing amor fati, the love of our fate, the acceptance and even embrace of what is. So, how do we practically apply this? It begins with honest reflection. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself, what am I holding on to that feels heavy? What am I doing, thinking, or allowing into my life that doesn't align with my highest self, with virtue? Be specific. Is it a habit of procrastination? A belief that you're not good enough? A relationship where you constantly feel drained? Once identified, the next step is a conscious decision. This isn't a hasty severing, but a considered release. For a habit, it might mean creating new routines, establishing clear boundaries with yourself. For a belief, it's challenging the narrative, seeking evidence that disproves it, and actively choosing a new, empowering perspective. For a relationship, it might involve setting clearer boundaries, communicating your needs, or, if necessary, choosing to step away with kindness and clarity, acknowledging that some paths diverge. The act of letting go is not passive. It is an active, mindful process of redirection. It's taking the energy that was once bound up in clinging and reinvesting it into something that does serve your growth. The empty space created by release is not a void to be feared, but an invitation for something new and more aligned to enter. When we truly release what no longer serves, we don't just feel lighter, we rise. We gain clarity, discover new strengths, and cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace. The path of growth, the Stoic reminds us, is not always about acquisition, but often about intelligent, courageous shedding. It's about cultivating a garden where only what truly flourishes is allowed to remain, making space for new, vibrant life to emerge. What will you choose to release today, to truly rise? Perhaps it's a small, insidious habit that saps your energy. Perhaps it's a long-held belief about your limitations. Or perhaps the emotional echo of a past that no longer defines you. Whatever it is, consider the profound freedom that awaits on the other side of letting go. Thank you for joining me on this reflective journey. If this resonated with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What have you found challenging to release, and what wisdom have you gained in the process? Your insights might just be the catalyst someone else needs on their path to growth.